Okay, so I hope you did the exercise of building this little user interface, and we will need that so that we can then change it using the MVVM or the view model approach, because first we build it the old-fashioned way, how we've done it so far, and then we're going to see how it works with architecture. So in this video, I'm just going to quickly show my code as to how this application is coming about. So how to build it, and therefore I'm creating a new project, and I'm going to select empty activity here and click on next. And I'm going to call this one counter MVVM, because later on I'm going to change the code of this. And let's get started. So once this is loaded, we can start modifying the code. All right, so once the app is ready, let's go ahead and get rid of our greeting composable as well as of the greeting preview. We're not going to use any of those. And I'm going to set up a new composable at composable. And this one will be fun, the counter app. And then we need a counter variable. So val count will be remember, curly brackets, mutable state of. And this will be a number of 0. So let's import remember so that we can use this variable. Then we need a function to increment and a function to decrement. So I'm going to create the increment function. Very simple. It just takes the value of our count dot value and increments it. And then we have a function to decrement. So reduce the value by 1, and that will do count.value dot minus minus. Okay, so this allows us to decrement by 1. Now we need the user interface. So let's go ahead and set that up. Inside of our counter app, I'm going to set up a column, which is going to have a modifier, which I'm gonna say fill max size. So take the entire screen width. Then I'm going to say that the items should be positioned in the center. So therefore, well, let's first import column, import function column. Now we can have a vertical arrangement, and I'm going to say arrangement center. And then I'm going to have horizontal alignment so that the items are centered horizontally. Now we need content for our column. All right, like so. And the content just was a text that says, well, the text property was count, and then I'm going to use the $sign to get count.value, like so. This is the text. Then I'm going to make the font size a little bigger. So there's this property inside of our text after this comma where our font size is equal to 24 SP. Now you could have taken any other value here as well. Let's import SP. And then font weight will be font weight bold. So I want the text to be bold. So whenever you want text to be bold, you need to use the font weight. So it's going to be heavier, so to speak, by being bold. Then I add a little spacer here, which is just going to have the modifier being modifier dot height of 16 density pixels. Now let's import density pixels. Let's import spacer like so. Then let's have a row. I need to import the right row and like so. Okay, that's the right one. And what do I need in here? Well, button 1, which is going to have an onClick event. And let me import button for this to work. Import button, this one here, this one. And then I can have an onClick. This onClick event will just call the increment function. So execute increment, and then the button needs a content, which will be of type text, which is the displayed text. And I'm just going to say increment on the button. Now we need another button inside of this row, which will be the right hand side button. And this one will call decrement, and it will say decrement. And that is pretty much it. Now we just need to call our composable inside of our surface, and then we can run our app. All right, and there we are. We have our little application. So let's increment the number, and you can see the count is going up. Now that by itself is all good, all fine. And however, I want to show you one little thing. Let's rotate our phone to the side, and you see our UI is reloading, and suddenly our count is reset. So imagine a user is using the app, and then they are changing the rotation, and the state of the application, so the numbers that they see, are suddenly gone. That would be such an insanely bad user experience, and that is something we need to avoid. Now obviously you could force the application to only accept one orientation, but that's not really what we are aiming for. We are aiming for understanding how to build applications that can maintain the state. Now, obviously, there are workarounds. So instead of using remember, we can use something called remember savable. But then we need a state saver and all the crazy stuff. So that is a quick workaround, a quick fix if you want to work with that. But if you really want to build a proper application long term, you need to understand how to store data, or like how to store the state better. And that is something where the ViewModel class can help us out a lot. And that's what we're going to look at in the next video. So see you there.